What's going on, everybody? Just getting warmed up on the prototype here. We've got a few people already logged on. So today I'm waiting on the power transformer, the new power transformer to come in. So, oh crap, the microphone's right in the way of the view, isn't it? That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work, is it? No, you can't see the amp. Let's move the microphone back over to where it was. I think it sounds better over here. Anyway, I was doing some work on my desk and just moved it and forgot. Hey, Canute, how are you, buddy? And the sound works. All right, I feel so lucky. Yeah, they did an update on StreamYard a few weeks ago. It works now. So they're doing all sorts of upgrades, little tiny ones. Like you can see now the comments show up. They were so tiny before you couldn't see them. Beatle guitars today. I got the little Rickenbacker 350 out. I've got my 66 Gretsch back there, and then my Gretsch reissue, which are both great. The 66 needs a little bit of work. The strings on it are deader than a doornail. But maybe I'll make you endure it. We can get some great Gretsch sounds out of the other one. And then Matt Ferguson lent me a Casino that I have here, but it needs some work. I think that's why I have it. So coming up soon. So I'm just waiting on this new power transformer. This is the old one. The new one's coming in. Hopefully, I thought it'd be in this week, but I guess it's going to be next week. Anyway, the little Rickenbacker rocks, doesn't it? I mean, I can play Beatles tunes if you want, but I thought we'd just get some Beatles sound. Harmony parts mixed up. Which one's a harmony? Which one's a melody? And I have always thought it's a crime. So I shall ask you once again. Get a little cleaner here. I like a little edge on everything. I get grief for that. Anyway, what's going on with you guys? It's almost Halloween. I brought some Halloween candy for you little trick-or-treaters that might be coming by. We got Halloween tomorrow night, and there's going to be 1 million kids in our neighborhood. We have a really good neighborhood for it. And we're the old people now that don't really decorate. Get accused of being... Yeah, I got the Casino here. It needs a little bit of work, Greg. Gonna do some upgrades on it. Taking it over to get the pickups wound. It It Means a Little Love. I just picked it up yesterday. It's not quite ready for prime time. But it's like George's, you know, Sunburst with a Bigsby on it. It's a reissue, though. It's not an old one. Man, this Rickenbacker's got the sound, doesn't it? Singing along? I mean, it's the most obvious Beatles sound, sorry, but it's kind of cliche, but why not? I mean, all the sound. That's the sound. Hey, Mike, how are you, buddy? It is the sound, isn't it? Give me a mellow pre-Halloween show today. I'm kind of in a holding pattern waiting for this transformer. You guys kind of know what the, hey, what's up, man? That's my fellow band member. Brian Mendes and I are in a Beatles tribute band called the Clarences. Remember Clarence, the fifth Beatle from Saturday Night Live? He claims he wrote all the songs, and the Beatles ripped him off, right? And he, the first one, hey, what's up, Phil? The first one he wrote was, she's got a ticket to ride and a bitch don't care. Mike Leaptrap says, just sitting around while I get a new roof. Don't call ice until tomorrow. I won't call ice ever. Why on earth would I call ice on hardworking people trying to feed their families, man? I'm all for that criminal thing they talked about. Yeah, poor Clarence. That's right. So Brian and I are in the Clarences. I am the token white guy. My band name is Mayo. Mayonnaise. Much to my surprise, I didn't realize, that's right, the fish don't care, man. And we'll see some of the other songs. Mike, every Mexican I've ever met works his ass off. I always tell people living in Los Angeles, I've been here 30 years this time. I moved here for a couple years in the 80s and then came back in 95. Here's where I see Mexicans. I see them going to work. I see them lined up to go to church every Sunday morning down the block. And then I see birthday parties in the park every Saturday. So work, church, and family. It's awful. Think I'm gonna be sad. Mrs. Hellman, that's right. That's my new pronoun. Is I'm an old lady. I think it's today, yeah. I can't sing, I apologize. Girl, that's driving me mad. Yeah, we did the same thing, Mike, a few years ago. New roof and solar panels going away. Yeah, electricity here in Los Angeles is unusually expensive. We have the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, which is bigger than most corporations. It's a Fortune 100 corporation. So anyway, our electricity bill, we get it every 2 months, and our electricity bill went from like $900 down to like 85. So even after our payments, we're profiting a few $100 a month. We also have a lot of sun here too, that helps. Don't know why she's riding so high. You know what I'd really like to do sometime on the show? I don't know if it's possible. Maybe some of you guys can help me out with this. I would love to fire up Logic, and we can record guitars together and double track them. I can show you the screen and show you what I've learned from like Brendan O'Brien and Tom Sorowski. Yeah, Mike, a big part of my bill is a connection fee every month. I think I got to pay $40 a month just to be connected to the grid, right? Glad you like it, Phil. Anyway, so if I could double track this with my Gretsch, I think we'd nail the sound, right? A little growl the Gretsch has, maybe just right. That's right. This sound comes to you courtesy of the solar panels on my roof. Good point, Mike. Yeah, man. What other songs did Clarence write for the Beatles? I mean, it was Twist and Shout, Man. What was the other one? She Got a Ticket to Ride and a Bitch Don't Care. That's a good one. I love that one. Oh yeah, it was I Want to Hold Your Hand, Man. Oh yeah. Too bright, isn't it? Yeah, I'll figure that out. Actually, go to the middle pickup. Yeah, of course, Micah. There's 3 parts to that. Did you see the thing with Randy Bachman? Where they went to Abbey Road and they were there with Niles, George Martin's son, or Giles Martin. It's not Niles. Giles, excuse me. American yank dummy. They were there with Giles Martin, and they had moved everything over to Pro Tools, all the original source tapes of the Beatles stuff. And so there's, I think it's just 2 guitars, but the bass, if I remember correctly, so the bass is hitting a 5, right? It's doing the D. And then 1 guitar, George is going it's crazy. It's like an F9, but he's hitting low notes on it too, which I don't even know how he does it, but it's something along the lines of like he's using his thumb. So I'm thumbing these two strings and playing an F9 over the top. Right, and then of course another guy's doing the G sus. You hit them all together, and with McCartney hitting the 5, the D is unexpected, right? So, yeah, I think that's the chord. And it all works. Sing it, guys. It's been a hard day's night. You're picking up a lot of the fret noise here on this vocal mic side. When I'm home. What was that? I saw somebody come through. Brian, she's, oh yeah, just catching up on the screen. What are the other classic Beatle licks you need to hear on a Rickenbacker, man? If I go a little, I'll do a little bit of messing. Even that was a J160, but. About time for the Gretsch. We'll play the other parts on the Gretsch. I think I'm going to go with the black Gretsch. The 66 is cool as shit, but the strings are just dead. I mean, I picked up the and went, oh my God. Embarrassing. Yeah. That's Beatle tone. This little amp will kind of do whatever you ask it to do. Some Tom Petty jangle. Yeah, that's right. Man. Picking up a lot of fret noise here. What am I thinking of? Of course, there's... What's the other one I'm thinking of, though? It's not playing in my head, darn it. I can only... Usually, the way my brain works, and you guys might have a similar affliction, is that I have like this jukebox in my head, and if I can go kunk, 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 and hit F1s and call up the right 45 in my head, it starts playing in my head, and then I can play the song. Let me give a quick tune here. I've been beating the daylights out of this poor guitar. I'm kind of a monkey. I use a very heavy pick, which is why you hear all that fret noise over the microphone. It doesn't come through the amp, but... Come on, little guy. Man, I think we're sharp. Must have hit this poo-poo tremolo. Here Comes My Girl, but I can't get the song queued up in my head. What's going on? Thank you, Oswald. Yeah. I mean, of course, there's, you know. She was an American girl, raised on promises. Yeah, this is a clean channel. I got it right on the edge. I can play it cleaner if you like. I like being right on the edge. She was an American girl. Probably too bright. I'm getting a little bit of scratch out of there. No, that's not bright enough. Let's see. That's why it's a Proto. We'll pull some bass out, which will give you the illusion of more treble. Yeah, let's do a little more. That's pretty good. So just so you guys know, like sometimes I watch the replay and go, dude, you look like you're a nut job. So I'm trying to play guitar, read the screen over here, speak in complete sentences and conjugate verbs correctly while I play coherent guitar. Sometimes it makes my face go, but you get the idea. Do a little more over here. There we go. What are the good Tom Petty songs? That was a good call on the Petty. On a Rickenbacker. I don't have a Rick 12 string. Matt Ferguson just bought like a 65 or 66 Rickenbacker 12 string. It's George City, man. You can play anything on these guitars, really. Just depends if you know how to play guitar a little bit, and I know just a little bit. Yeah, let's go to the Gretsch. I have not tuned it up, so I apologize in advance. I was going to play the 66, and I had it out for just a few minutes before the show, and I went, man, this guitar needs some love right now. It's not ready for prime time, I don't think. Hold on one second. I'll grab the Duo Jet. You can see the dude's sitting right here. So I'll have to tune this up. But in the meantime, we can talk and eat Halloween candy. We haven't seen a little Duo Jet in a while, have we? That's cool. I love this guitar. This is one that I really put a lot of love into, and I sent it to some really talented people, Michael DeTemple mostly, but Tom. Oops. Oh yeah. I think these strings are pretty dead too. It's time to go through the guitars. Funny how my guitars go sharp when I let them sit. Anyway, Tom Jones, TB Jones, Thomas Benson Jones, right? Made these pickups for me. He was so nice about it. We talked on the phone for quite a while. I had a long conversation. And, yeah, these strings are pretty dead too. Sorry. I use those pure nickels now, and they do go dead. Something's not right here. I'm not getting much output. Come on. Excuse me. That nice little growl on the bottom. That's why I want to double track some guitars with the Rickenbacker in this, because Gretsch's have that low end growl. Sorry. Anyone with any manners would have done this before the show. I'm just saying. Man, what a sharp city. There must be Bigsby stuff going on. We'll get there, I swear. Ed Gaudet says, hey, I saw Paul last night. Hey, Paul. Excellent show. Brought my 16-year-old who was blown away singing for the first time. Good job, Dad. Everybody should take their kid to see Paul before he's gone. Yeah, I know. The show's still good. It's not what it used to be, but it's still great, you know. Let's heat this up just a little bit. Hey, Cousin Stacy. How are you, darling? My cousin Stacy's on air, and she's got a bunch of kids. Have you taken your kids to see Paul McCartney, Stacy? All right, let's see. Let's get this dialed in for this guitar. Yeah, I mean, Paul McCartney's once in a 1,000-year talent, you know. Not yet, Stacy says. Well, good. You still have time. Okay, we're almost there. The Bigsby's starting to hold. The way that I play guitars is pretty unfriendly. Yeah, this is working. Let's go over here to the more British side. Anyway, Stacy, while you're here, thanks again for last week. You're awesome. See how well this would blend with the Rickenbacker? If we double track these guitars. Oh, come on, E string. I love Bigsby's and I hate Bigsby's. You too, sweetheart. I love you. There it goes. I'm a picky bastard, sorry. Yeah. Go back down, get a little cleaner. You know, my cousin Stacy also, we both grew up in houses with pianos. And so you get used to something that's really in tune. So guitars become annoying. Sorry, I'm listening to some performance characteristics of the amp. There's a nice quack in this guitar that's coming through there. Quack, 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 quack. lyrics on a Gretsch. If we did here a little wah, wah, wah. That's filtertrons. That's good filtertrons do that. And a lot of amps don't pick that up. So when you're playing, you don't really get the wah. I think I'm gonna be sad again. There's the other song by the Clarences. Yeah. Don't know why she's riding so high. Tom Petty ones. I gotta hear that. Why I got the rhythm wrong? It's not playing in my head, man. Hit the right jukebox number for me. Can't get it started. I can almost hear it. Oh, well. You should sell. This is just a suggestion. Sell what? I'm sorry. Sorry, I was a little typo there. I'm going to sell these. Time for new strings. Yeah, that's good quack in there. I'm listening for the, oh, these amps. Yeah, I'm going to. That's the plan, Oswald. Thank you. Hear that quack? That's filtertrons, man, and 8 thumbs on it. It's okay, buddy. I typo all the time, especially on my phone. Like, I think my phone's keyboard is made for the 8-year-old that built it, right? Hey, Randy, how are you, buddy? Good to see you, Reverend. Just kind of calming down. Played the Rickenbacker for a while. Moved on to a little Gretsch action. So I'm just in a holding pattern this week. Waiting for a new power transformer. It's a little behind. I think it's going to give me a little more of what I need out of this. Right now, while I can dial in a really good sound, I can make it better. And then it'll be close to being ready. That's okay, Randy. People have real problems. I don't mind waiting. Thank you, though, brother. I'm in love with her and I feel fine. I'm so glad that she's my little girl. She's so glad she's telling all the world that a baby buys a thing. Whoops. You know she said so. I'm sorry, guys. I can only sing at like 100 decibels. The singing politely in a room is not my thing at all. I'm in love with her and I feel fine. High part on this because it goes, I'm so glad, and then the other one goes, I'm so glad she's so glad she's telling all the world. Man, that's up there. Those dudes can sing. So Oswald, good point. Hey, there's a border collie. Say hello, Darla. This is one we've just been rescuing. Been working on her for about almost a year now. Hey, kiddo. She was a farm dog who was getting beaten. So we, hey, come here, sweetie pie. She's a really lovely dog, but she sees something out the window. Bigger is better to a certain extent. It depends on the engineers behind it. Definitely a larger stack gets you more meat, you know. So that's the thing, everybody, when I'm telling people about this amp, the first thing they say is make it light. Well, got to pick your poison. So there's different design and wind patterns that lend themselves to that, Oswald, and that's what we're working on. I want to get this kind of thing, but with a little fatter, more girthy sound to it, a little more body, so it's believable. Like I've been running it in 20 watts. You can run this in 50. I just don't have that tap hooked up, but like if I go down here, this is 2.7 watts, right? I'm not going to adjust the volume this time because I adjusted it last time and a couple guys went, hey, I didn't hear the volume change. Now, just so you know, let me adjust the gain on the preamp here. And you can see how good it actually sounds, right? I adjusted the preamp up quite a bit. Now I'm going at 2.7 watts, which is about how much power is in your headphones. Still sounds right, doesn't it? Still breaks up the same, still feels the same. Only difference is no one's yelling at you in the house. No neighbors pounding on the walls. Nobody coming in going, turn that shit down. Turn that noise off. We're watching Dancing with the Stars in here. 2.7 watts, right? So let me adjust the gain on my preamp here back down to where it was at 20 watts, which is here. Yeah, Oswald, that's right. It sounds the same, just not as loud. Exactly. So it's been my experience. I'm not pointing fingers or anything like that, but it's been my experience. I've been playing guitar now for 47 years, almost 48 years. When you go down to a certain power level, it's always a big compromise. And I'm trying to avoid that compromise. So if you're sitting in a room, like the 2.7 watts is fine. I should just plug it into my cabinet here, even though it's not mic'd up. You'll hear that it's plenty. Let's do that. You'll hear that it's plenty loud for sitting around playing in the house. Give me just a second. Hold on. This is into a 65 amps cabinet with a G12M in it. Now, it's not mic'd up. You're just going to hear it through my vocal mic, but you'll hear that there's plenty of there. That's louder than shit, isn't it? That's 2.7 watts. So you get the idea. That M sounds good too, doesn't it? Tell me, like the impulse response, I'm just going to call it a day for now, unless you guys want to hear something specifically. If you got a specific guitar you want me to play, and we'll just talk. We'll talk about stuff. Scary how Fender and Marshall were dropping off the shelf transformers, yeah, in the 50s and 60s, and it seemed to work out well. Well, there's a reason for that. What happened, Rob, is, you know, guitar was so new. I'm gonna have some Halloween candy, man. I don't know about you guys. Mark, I'll answer that question in just a second. It's a good question and doesn't sound like something sounds like something's wrong with your amp. You know, when you do hit the bump, you are bypassing the tone stack. Somewhat. Not completely, but mostly. And probably what you're experiencing is a different level of bump. The British side on the left side will have more bump than the other side. Anyway. Yeah, Oswald. You guys are listening. When I'm playing, it's an impulse response off my UA aux box, right? Which is great. But a real Celestian sounds better. Hey, I'm having some Halloween M&Ms. Are you guys joining me? And then I have some Skittles. Anybody want some? Come on over. So, yeah, so Fender was buying transformers based solely on their measurements. I need this much primary plate, resistance, all this kind of stuff. I needed to produce this much B plus voltage after I rectify it. Same with Marshall. They're just local suppliers. But what the difference is, pardon me chewing food, it's Halloween, relax. The difference was people were making iconic, hey, Scott Leslie, how you doing, buddy? Welcome back, good to see you. The difference was people were making iconic records then with those amps. So we associate those sounds with our favorite music. And so whatever transformers they were using were the right ones because there was nothing before that, right? You know, before the original Fenders, and even going up kind of till the mid-60s, and with the early Marshall starting in 64, really. Yeah, 63 technically, but 64, 65 was when we first started hearing Marshalls. By 67, they were starting to get kind of widespread. By 69, they were everywhere, right? So, if Hendrix had played a Silvertone from Sears, we'd all be chasing that sound, right? And so it's kind of a backwards thing, Rob. But now these high-end, those were not expensive parts. Like JTM 45, you probably heard of this. JTM 45 used a transformer called a Radio Spares. And that's Britain's equivalent of Radio Shack. So, not particularly posh parts, just that's what they could get. And there were little companies, when they started. In the 50s, Fender was making guitars and amps in the same building that was about 3,000 square feet. So, Greg, good question. Give me a second. I'll get to you. So we got trained like dogs. We got patterned like animals to listen for those sounds. Now we pay a lot of money to recreate what used to be cheap stuff. You know, Woden and stuff like that. Ooh, these are, I got the sour ones. Those were all affordable mainstream parts. They weren't like going to Mercury Magnetics. Now you go to Mercury Magnetics, the most expensive transformers made, and say, make me a radio spares transformer, which was one of the cheapest transformers made back then. Same with Triad and stuff like that in Fenders. Leo Fender was infamously a cheap son of a gun. Whereas these stories of him walking around the floor, and he'll see screws on the ground. He'll pick it up and hold it. Is this your screw? No, sir. And why is it on the floor? God damn it. You know, yelling at people. Businessman under a lot of pressure, right? So, but that's how we got there, Rob. It's kind of funny when you think of it like that. But I shouldn't have eaten a mouthful of Skittles while I'm trying to talk. Hold on. Greg Kaler, good question. Would a bad transformer give off the same effects as a bad tube? Sort of. To be honest with you, I've had my hands in amplifiers for 47 years, 45 years, whatever. You don't really see that many bad transformers. You hear a bad power transformer once in a while, and it's usually because of user error. Abuse. But it depends. You know, bad tubes can have 10 different bad sounds. What are you experiencing, Greg? Let's dive in there for a second. You have an amp that's misbehaving? I know there's a lag here. I put an intentional lag on here because every once in a while, there hasn't been much lately. People come in and type very inappropriate things, and I can just smoke them before you see it. I get a few seconds preview of what your comments are before they go on the board. But so when I speak, I know you may be responding right now, and it'll be a second before it shows through. But especially during the 2020 election, that's why I quit doing my show for a while. Really, really aggressive people saying wildly inappropriate, vulgar, physically threatening, things. I just don't do that. You can feel however you want about politicians. I do not care. I could not care less. Okay, Greg. So, Oswald, that's a good comment. Give me a second. I'll circle back to you. You got a Mesa Mark III. I replaced the tubes and it has volume highs and lows. My next suspect before the transformer, because you can just measure the transformer, like you can see what voltage you're getting out of it. That's easy to check, and just hold a meter on there and see what kind of B plus voltage you're getting and see if it's steady. If the voltage is going up and down, then you got an issue. It's very unusual for transformers to go bad. Excuse me, literally in my however long I've been an amp nerd, I've seen maybe my God. 7 or 8 bad transformers. out of all the amps that we made, which is about 5,500 on our initial run, we had one that got returned, and it was user error. It was an artist that did something wrong, and the speaker cable plugged halfway in, and it blew the output transformer. And the good folks at Mercury replaced it anyway. So what I was getting at, Greg, my next suspect would be in your power supply. Like if the filter caps are unhappy. The filter caps take the AC coming in, which is very noisy. It's amazing. I have a device. Sometime I'll plug it in here. I got to find it. It's in a box somewhere. But you can plug it in. It has a speaker in it, and you can plug it into the outlet. You can hear the noise that's in the wall. Sometimes you hear radio or air traffic control or a helicopter going over. It comes through the wiring in your house, because it's a huge antenna. Especially an old house like this. This house is 90 years old, so a lot of the wiring is really thick old copper. It's a huge antenna, which is why this amp with no chassis is kind of noisy when I go up to the gainy stuff because it's wide open. But anyway, the filter capacitors take that really dirty AC and clean it. And if they're not doing their job, they'll fluctuate like that. And then there's your rectifier circuit in that amp, which would be bridged. It's a bridge rectifier in that amp, I believe, with diodes. Those can go bad too. So the first thing you do, Greg, I don't know if you have a meter. I don't know if you're comfortable sticking your fingers inside an amplifier. Do not do it if you've never done it before. It's very, very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. You can make a fatal mistake very easily. You get both hands inside that chassis, and electricity goes through your heart, right? So you got to be very careful. It was bad building and wiring. Well, I wasn't going to go there, but Rob, that is one of the things. If you just got a lemon, sometimes it happens, but it's pretty unusual. Mesas are usually pretty good big build quality, I think. How old is this amp, Greg, and how long have you had it? Did it just start doing this? I get that radio sound sometimes. Yeah. So that's in your power section. That wouldn't be a bad transformer. More than likely, your filter caps are going bad. How old is this amp? The filter capacitors in there are really good for about 10 years. A lot of them last longer than that, but after 10 years, if you start getting weird stuff, that's the first suspect for me. When I first started noodling with amps, 1980, 1979, 1980. Oh, the amp's 30 years old. Yeah. Do you have a good tech around you, Greg? I'll take it there and have them go through it. I doubt it's a transformer. I really doubt it. I could be wrong, though. It does happen. But when I first started working on Fenders in like 1980, I think I told you guys last week the first Fender that I rebuilt was a 1955 Fender Deluxe, and it was 25 years old then, and the filter caps were shot, just junk, And then as I, through the 80s, when I worked at a music store, where Peter and I worked at a music store, we would take all these old Fenders people brought in for trade, buy them for cheap off our boss, take them home and fix them, and then sell them. So like in 1987, mid-60s Fenders, a lot of them had bad filter caps. I see in the building. Oh, yeah, that's right. Power fluctuating. Yeah, that's the other thing, Rob. Good point. Thank you for bringing that up. Can you measure hey, Hoss Thompson, buddy? Oh, the clock's saying, yeah, we don't change until next week. No, I'm not saying that, Michael. The caps that are available now last pretty long compared to the ones they used back then. Also, I don't use heavy filtering on our amps, so you should be fine for a while. It does happen, I guess, technically, they could be getting towards the end, but I haven't really seen it, and I'm aware of all these things. Mike Franciscini does all the warranty repairs still. I'm not aware of any filter caps failing yet. But keep an eye on it. Maybe in the next 5 to 10 years, it might start happening. Anyway, so, yeah, bad wiring. Yeah, Doug, a lot of things can cause it. The radio noise always comes in through the power. So it either comes through the power outlet or through the input jack. So I put ferrite beads, which is Ferrite, ferrite beads. You can buy those literally for like a quarter, 25 cents, and strap them around the input jack. They work great. They work really well. Just run from the input jack to ground and you're happy. Also, guys use certain capacitors for that, like a 0.01 capacitor on your input jack will get rid of a lot of radio noise. Sometimes you can even go smaller, like a 500 picofarad cap. Doesn't change the sound of the guitar at all. It just knocks that nonsense down. For our artists, some of the bands we sold amps to, they had massive, screens and behind them and 32 channels of wireless microphones and, all this kind of stuff on stage. So we really had to lock down the amp, which is not necessary for you playing at home. It's just overkill. More stuff to go wrong, right? But anyway, yeah, Greg, I don't know where you live, but I can help you find a good tech if you want. Or if you want to send it out here, there's a lot of great techs in Los Angeles. But you have a 30-year-old amp, I would check. But if you're comfortable with the meter, just see what kind of voltage you're getting and see if it's steady. You got to figure out, just measure at the transformer, where the transformer plugs into the board right there. Just got to be careful on a printed circuit board. If you're not comfortable with it, I don't recommend doing it. It could be really dangerous by accident. And you do not want that. It's a lot of electricity. It's enough to kill you. So be careful. But yeah, Doug Campbell, if you have dirty pins on your tubes, it's got carbon buildup on them and stuff, that will create just interference, like junk. Signals getting interrupted going through mud. Anyway, yeah, that's good. But yeah, Rob, I've played in some bars, a couple notorious bars that had incredibly shitty wiring. So I have a Furman unit right here next to my desk, and everything's running off of that. Here in Los Angeles, let me look and see. All these amps are built for 117, right? I'm getting 121 right now from the wall, but it's delivering 117 to the amp. And there's times when I'm getting 124. So that's a big that's a big change in a tube amp. So when you're rectifying electricity for the tubes, every voltage you get in gets turned into roughly 4 volts. So if, let's say on this one, I would be 6 volts too high, right? That's 24 more volts on the tubes. That's a lot. That's a design change, which is why you see a lot, that brown box thing that Pat Garrity invented. I think he sold the company, but brown box is great if you have an old amp. If you're plugging a vintage amp into modern wall sockets, you're killing it. You're beating the daylights out of it. Now, it sounds good. Don't get me wrong. All that voltage is cool, but it's not good for the amp. I have a rack mount Furman, Michael. Let me see if I can see what model it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't have my glasses on. It's a rack mount version, and it's a digital power supply. So this is actually a regulated power supply, not just a filter. You're in Arizona. Yeah, go ahead. Let me see if I can see. I can't see it. Hold on one second. I'm gonna get my phone flashlight. It's under a rack and it's fucking hard to see. Come on. Why does the tap not work when you need it and you do it by accident all the time? It is let's see. DM5, I think is what it says. Power something DM5. Power conditioners are great. I just use regulated power supply, so I can control it. If you have exceptionally wimpy colonial voltages, yeah, that's right. It's because our infrastructure didn't get bombed like yours did, Hoss. So we didn't rebuild ours in 1946. We have the old stuff. Yeah. And amps do sound better over there because 220 and all that stuff resonates around G, 240, whereas 120 resonates at like A sharp. But anyway, I'm not familiar with the Amp Maniac. That's cool. Basically a brown box. A guy makes them one at a time in the next state. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. So, yeah, I wouldn't... Greg, good call. Don't poke around an amp if you're not. But, just check check that power transformer and see if it's putting out steady voltage. If it is, then go to the next area of the amp, which is going to be the filtering, or the rectification, excuse me, and see if the rectifier... At the other side of the rectifier, if you're getting steady voltage, and if you are, move on, to the filter kit. Your tech's going to know this, though. Any good tech knows all this stuff. But, it's sort of a linear thing. Randy Krath says, I use multiple power conditioners, heavy duty, in my studio, and it's not unusual to have 122 and higher. I use a brown box, a big one for tube amps. Good. Mark Stoddard says 12 AWG power cords. They do. And get the red ones that Mercury sells are thick and they're pure copper. It does make the amp sound better. It's kind of makes sense, right? That's sort of the oxygen the amp is taking in through that power cord. Hoss Thompson says, did you see someone send an email to Porsche asking if they made a Panzer tank? I did not see that, but if you find that, please post it on the Fans of 65 Amps page. I'd love to see that. I think that falls under hilarious, and I know funny. That's funny. Yeah, there's a lot of things, little things you can do to make an amp sound better, as long as it's fundamentally a good amp. A big, thick, heavy power cord isn't going to make a bad amp sound good, but it'll make a good amp sound better. And that's all I use. I don't have one on this amp right now. I think I've given all mine away, but you can buy them. They're on Amazon now. It's the same ones Mercury sells, only they don't up the charge. You can buy them. You can buy like a 6-pack of them, I think, for $15 or something. They do help. They do help, those red ones, and it's really pure copper, which does help. It's funny, when Mercury first came out with them, we did a side-by-side test, and I thought, oh my God, you guys got to be kidding me selling me this snake oil. And I had to eat my hat, and sure enough, it does sound better. I'll be damned. It's very cool. Oh, there you go, Michael. You found matching blue ones for your Blue Line amps. I like your style, man. That's good. I like that a lot. That's a man of style, taste, and elegance there. That's good stuff. Anyway, so what else is going on? I'm still working on that Telecaster with Lance Lerman and Michael DeTemple. Might try to go out there this afternoon and see how the neck's doing. That quarter sawn, roasted hard maple, no truss rod. It's going to ring like a bell. And I'll be playing it here soon. And with a Ron Ellis bridge pickup, at least. I think I might have a humbucker to stick in there. And Ron is so buried right now that I'm trying to leave him alone. But he's got good problems. He's a busy man. And you know what I still need to do? Matt Ferguson let me this Dr. Robert pedal, and I haven't even plugged it in yet. Anybody have familiarity with this, experience with this pedal? It's supposed to be the Beatles sound. I should have used it today doing Beatle guitars, damn it. Well, let's do that next week, maybe. Anyway, yeah. That's life in Los Angeles. The Dodgers, what's the word I'm looking for? Played like, what's the word? Ass. The Dodgers were embarrassing last night. I can't believe it. TV Jones, Full Fidelity Ray Butts, fun pickups, that's right. I hope it's going to be a pretty chunky neck. Yeah, it's pretty thick. This wood was already really old. Michael bought the wood in 1992, I think, and it was already old then. And it's roasted and quarter sawn, and it's been aged. So it's strong. It's pretty chunky, mid-size, 50s telly kind of thing. The 51 telly that I had here, we copied that neck. We did a 3D copy of it and then ran it through a CNC machine and recreated it. So I'm excited. But yeah, Michael's done a lot of truss rodless necks, no truss necks. What's the best way to say it? I had one. He traded me one. Good question, Oswald. Oh, this is an important question. I had one. He traded me a telly that he made with no truss rod in it in like 2010. And I traded him an amp for it. It didn't move a millimeter. Like, it was great. And I had to sell it, unfortunately, but maybe it was more like 2008. But anyway, I had it for 3 or 4 years and it never moved. It was incredible. And I know the guy that has it now, and it was in Michael's shop recently, and he told me, oh, you remember your guitar? It was here. It hasn't moved. The neck is still perfect. So Michael knows what he's doing. He's pretty good. There's other people I wouldn't trust as much as him. But he's been doing this a long time. He started working for Ernie Ball on Ventura Boulevard right down here in 1960. He's been in guitars ever since. But yeah, I think we're good, Hoss. We checked it out. It's a nice piece. But anyway, standby switches. Standby switches are very useful, especially if you have a cathode biased amp. So if you have a cathode biased amp like an AC30 or like most of the 65s, when you're not playing, the amp's wide open. It's the opposite of a grid biased amp like a Fender, Blackface or a Marshall or, big Marshall. Anything 50 watts and above is usually grid biased. Whereas anything 40 watts and below is usually cathode biased. So when you're not playing, the amp's full blast on a cathode biased amp. It's the opposite on a grid biased amp when you're not playing, it's idling, right? So it's the whole thing about like warming up the amp before you play it, like turn it on and then, hitting notes while the amp's warming up. It's not that big of a deal. It's something, but it's not that big of a deal. The big deal is when you're not playing, put it on standby. Even with a grid biased amp, it's good practice. It will save your amp and make it. Anyway, Haas, I'll show you the pictures. Maybe I can go out there this afternoon. I had an appointment today that got canceled. Got moved to next week. So, yeah, maybe I should see if I can go out there and have a peek. I was going to go last week, but they had some CNC machine issues that stopped the whole shop, so I didn't want to get in their way. But anyway, yeah, man, life is good. The world is upside down. The Dodgers suck. Suddenly, they get to the World Series, and all of a sudden, they're playing like crap. Hats off to the Blue Jays. Boy, they're really stepping up. I know right before the series started, the Dodgers were 7-1 favorites to win. I bet it's probably even money or worse now. Yeah, our big stars aren't doing anything. They have great pitching and the great hitters, but so do we. We can hit the best pitchers in the world. They also do batting practice with our pitchers. Go Blue Jays. Oh, Randy. I'll turn you off. What? Blue Jays. Oh, it's a team named after a bird that's a pest. And their nickname is BJ. Come on. The Dodgers. Jackie Robinson. Please, Blue Jays. Just kidding. I don't really care about baseball that much. Just being dramatic. But seriously, Jackie Robinson. Come on. Rob Price says, I got a clone. I also fight for the underdogs. Okay, fair enough. I'm just kidding you anyway, brother. It's all good. I got a clone of a 59 Tweed Vibralex, great amp, with no standby switch, but at least it's grid biased. Yeah, you know, back it's grid biased amps. It's arguable. You know, I think it's good practice just to let the tubes kind of relax. Because all you're doing is interrupting air. The only thing when you turn the power on, take two. It's easy for me to say. When you turn the power on with the standby switches on, all you're doing is doing the heaters on the tubes, right? There's nothing's hitting the grids, any of that stuff. Just the heaters are up so that the cathodes are hot. And that doesn't stress the tubes at all. But when you have signal going in the grid, now all of a sudden, even though you can't hear it, there's electrons flying through the tube. And then those electrons are electrons from the cathode. And cathodes run out of electrons. That's why tubes go bad, for the most part, is the cathode runs out of electrons. It's physical material, and it dies after a while. You've heard of the term cathode stripping? That's what's going on with tubes, only just really, really slowly. It's kind of similar like how old glass looks like water. It's breaking down, right? So, yeah, you can fight for the underdogs, Randy. That's cool. I'm just kidding. Like, I live here and I go to Dodgers games and I like the Dodgers. Mookie Betts is one of my favorite baseball players, even though he's not really doing much during the series, unfortunately. I doubt the Dodgers are going to go win both games in Toronto. Anything's possible. They have the talent if they decide to wake up. Last night's game looked like a high school game. Balls in the dirt, flub plays, swinging at balls they shouldn't swing at, letting beautiful pitches go right by them, going, what was that? Oh, damn. 88 miles an hour right down the middle. Dude, that's grapefruit material there. You can send that ball. And no, it's not rounders, Haas. I've heard that nonsense before. It's not rounders. Stop it. But I know. I heard that every time I mention baseball in Britain. Oh, yeah, we have girls here play that game. It's called rounders. It's not the same game. There are some visual similarities to it, but it's a different game. But I get it. Ha ha, funny joke. And it's all cool. Hey, there's a credit card I have to turn on. This desk, I tell you, someday I'm going to go. Yeah, I need to do that. There's another one I have to turn on here somewhere too. Yeah, man, you got it, Michael. Like, we have Shohei Ohtani, who's maybe the best baseball player in the history of the game. Not doing much in the World Series. Got a couple of home runs, which is great. But his pitching outing was average. And, well, it's different. Yeah. Also, you've probably never seen anyone in rounders throw a ball over 50 miles an hour. Softball would be a little more akin to rounders, maybe, but it's a different game, different rules, different stuff. But there are some visual similarities. I get it. But yeah, take a 105 mile an hour ball up your nose, see what happens. I know there was an exhibition decades ago where some cricket players came over here, and they did really well hitting the ball. The rest of the game was beyond them. But, you know, the fielding and all that, and the you know, making plays in baseball, like if there's a man on first and a man on third and somebody hits a grounder past second base, where do you throw? You know, the automatic thinking that baseball players have. How to do relay throws from the outfield to catch someone at home in time. All these sorts of things. There's a lot more to it. But anyway, for you European guys out there, they have the Los Angeles Dodgers, which is a big team. They have a lot of money. People go, oh, they just buy it, but they don't. We're like number 4 in spending. There's 4 teams that spend a lot more money than us on their payroll. But because we spent a lot of money on Ohtani and this other Japanese pitcher named Yamamoto, who's amazing, they make false accusations. Oh, the Dodgers just bought a team. We didn't. They're good players. And also, it's important to note that these players had offers from 3 or 4 other teams each, and they chose the Dodgers. So, It's anyway, Los Angeles, for those of you that don't live in the United States, Los Angeles is it's a big, huge behemoth. Los Angeles County has 18 million people in it. And California itself is the fourth largest economy in the world. So you can imagine the sort of kidding and joking and stuff that goes on here about California. We're sort of, 800-pound gorilla, or if you don't like us, we're the Death Star. We're the vanguard of social and fashion and music and all that stuff out here. So everything that we do, the rest of the country goes, them damn hippie liberals. And then 10 years later, they're doing the exact same thing and pretending that it's theirs. People out here have funny haircuts, and them dang weirdos. And then 10 years later, they're doing it in Iowa. So that's the cycle. Everyone out here is cool with that. Like, we get it. It's no problem. Yeah, you're right. Kind of philosophically, any professional sports team has bought its team. I mean, they're not paying them fresh air. Yeah, of course. The accusation is the Dodgers have such a big budget that it precludes the smaller markets from doing anything because they don't have banks in smaller markets, apparently. They don't have any lending institutions or financial investment firms or venture capitalists. They're only in Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, Chicago, and Atlanta. That is a very sarcastic joke. Everyone has access to money. Just whether or not you want to take the chance and do it. We do have a big market here. We can charge a lot for tickets at the stadium, but that's not what pays those salaries. It's television rights that pay the salaries. Even here, I can't watch a Dodger game. I have to subscribe to some service. That's how they make their money, man. Anyway, I should go before we get into a big, deep baseball conversation, because who cares? Anyway, next week, I may or may not have a new power transformer in this amp. And it's been a while since we did like a Gibson fun day. So let's do some Les Paul. Les Paul Jr. I did the Junior last week or the week before, but let's bring out the trusty Les Paul with the good Ron Ellis pickups in it. And Jerry White, hey, good to see you, buddy. Hey, Dan, I love all your content. In my car slant 6V 40 watt amp, I use the switch to amp straight off and not put it on standby, but then a fuse went, so I always put it on standby first now. Alabama deals only in gold. Yeah, that's might be a spurious correlation, Jerry. It shouldn't cause a fuse to blow unless the sudden juice into the tube popped a grid on your tube. Like if you blew the control or the, what do you call it? Not the control grid. On the screen grid. Excuse me, that's what I'm looking. I'm tired, man. Screen grid. If you blew the screen grid on a power tube, that would make this fuse pop. It's unlikely that turning it on hot did that. But if the tube was on its last legs, that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back. But I always do standby anyway. Just be nice to your amp. Even though I know now with, like, for example, with modern engines, like when I was a kid, and when it was cold outside, you had to warm up the engine because we didn't have multi-viscosity oil in our cars, right? You ran 40 weight in the summer and you ran 20 weight in the winter. So you let that oil warm up and circulate through the motor. Now we have multiple viscosity oils, that's 530, right? So you don't have to warm up your car. Like the oil's circulating immediately really well. But I still do it anyway. I've got two modern cars. If it's cold outside, I let the motor run for a minute or two. Just be nice to it. And I'm the weirdo that thinks amps have souls. I'm revealing too much here now. But I do. I think if you allow yourself to listen, the amp will tell you what it can do, what it can't do, what it wants to do, and what it doesn't want to do. And people that aren't hip to that ask amps to do things they shouldn't do. Or they expect things out of amps that are impossible. However, if you just listen, quit pretending like you're in charge and just listen, the amp will tell you. There's a little soul in there that will tell you what it can do and what it can't do. I feel the same way about cars. I have a car problem. You know, when you're driving a car, the suspension will tell you what's going on. It can say, I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable. Okay, I'm getting uncomfortable, and pay attention. Yeah, thank you, Randy. Maybe it's metaphorical, I don't know, but I really, honestly, I feel that way about cars, engines, and I feel that way about guitar amps. There's something in there that if you listen to it, put your ego aside and just listen to it, it'll tell you what's up. And so for that reason, I love amps and I love cars. So I turn an amp on slowly. I let it sit and warm up. Like even before I do the show, I turn this amp on 15 minutes. It's just sitting there like this for 15 minutes. And that's just the heaters. Yeah, that's right. Dan thinks amps, they do talk to you. They talk to me and they talk to you. You just got to listen. And a lot of people don't know how to listen, or they don't take the time to listen. But I guarantee you, me letting this amp sit here on standby for 10 or 15 minutes before the show makes it act better. So, and I think it's metaphorically, it's because I'm nice to it, so it's being nice to me. But really what's happening is I'm letting the tube stabilize. I'm letting it sit there and run and go through. Oh, yeah, okay, here we go. All right, yeah. Okay, okay, we can do this. And then it starts working because it is a physical device, you know. So, Hoss Thompson, I love these comments. These are great. Rumor has it, all the gold in California is laying in a bank in Beverly Hills in somebody else's name. Any comment? No comment. For two reasons, one of which is, and the other is I have no idea. Randy Krath, great comment, well written as usual. That which you give life to has, through your efforts, what may well be a soul. I think so. I think it's more metaphorical terms that I'm thinking, but that's the way I verbalize it. There's electricity, there's energy in there, and that energy does a lot of things. And if you pay attention, you can use that energy. Similar to your line of work, Randy, there's a lot of good energy out there that you can choose to harness and listen to and follow. Randy is the hippest reverend in town, by the way. But you have to allow yourself to hear it. You got to step back and let go of the reins and listen. Yeah, that's true, Hoss. Like stretching your back out when you wake up. They need a good stretch. Just be nice to them. Just let them warm up, you know. Well, thanks, Randy. My dogs. I love my dogs. Man, I was gone 8 days. All I thought about was my dogs. For you, Dan, especially, your dog's souls are enriched by the love you get. I hope so. I wish they'd come around and play some more during the show. They're pretty shy now. Darla, come here. Darla. This is our new one. She's beautiful. My daughter found her on a farm. She was getting abused by a rancher. So she came and moved in with us. The first time she ever slept indoors was here at our house. Now she's my girlfriend. Like, we're total buds. It's really cool. But she was terrified of me at first. I guess I kind of resemble the guy that was beating her. And I couldn't even stand up in the room. She'd take off running. But now she runs to greet me and sits in my lap and loves all over me. It's awesome. Anyway, so, man, that was a long way of saying be nice to your amp. Why not? You know, like, you spend good money on it. And I know you guys work hard for your money. And many of you probably saved up for a long time to buy one of our amps, which I'm really, really grateful for. And I don't take that lightly. I don't dismiss that. Some of you guys went into debt to buy our amps. Man, I love you for it. I'm humbled by that. So be nice to your amps. You put a lot of effort into acquiring it, whether it's through work or whatever. Some of you spent your savings. Some of you ran up a credit card. Some of you sold other gear to afford one of our amps. God bless you. I mean, that's really cool. And I don't take that lightly, and I'm not taking it for granted, which is why I say be nice to your amp. Be good to them. Old amp, new amp, whatever it is, be nice to it. Pretend you care about it. Even if you don't really care about it, just pretend you do. And I know most of you do care about your amps, so that's not a problem. But anyway, I do got to run. I think I might go out there and see if that telly neck is almost done. And then they're doing the finish, the aged relic finish and everything on it. We're copying that 51 telly. So anyway, any last questions? And, you know, we have Halloween tomorrow. And if there's anybody here who's on SNAP benefits, or you have family members or neighbors that are on SNAP benefits, they're losing their food. They're losing their food support Saturday. So if you got a little extra food, invite them over for dinner. If you got a little extra cans of goods in your pantry, take it over to the food kitchen. If you know anybody that needs that kind of help, do it. It's not going to hurt you. All of us can afford to buy an extra meal for somebody. All of us can afford to buy some extra groceries for somebody. If you're saving up money to buy a 65 amp, put it off one more month and spend money on these people. Food is fundamental. I try to eat food every day. There's 40 million Americans that are going to lose their food support Saturday, day after tomorrow. And we'll all be celebrating our hangovers from Halloween parties and watching the World Series and living like kings while 40 million people are terrified that they're not going to be able to feed their kids. You and I can miss a meal. We're okay. Children can't. Not to mention socioeconomically, losing food can cause disasters. Every revolution started off with food insecurity. Every revolution in the history of the world. So I'm not much of a preacher. I'll leave that to Reverend Randy Krath here, but this is something that's real and it's very serious. And even though we're all probably okay here, we have a cousin, we have a neighbor, we have a coworker, or somebody we know, but there's a lot of people you don't know that need a little bit of help right now. And just do it. It's not going to hurt you. Don't worry about it. Don't ask for credit. Don't do it so you can get a pat on the back. Don't do it to feel anything other than you did the right thing. Food. I never thought I'd say this in our country because our politicians, I think the medical term is rectocranial inversion. You guys can figure out what that means, rectocranial inversion, because they're suffering from that. So there's a painting of my grandfather here, right? And he was quite a charitable religious person, and he would never dream of anything like this happening to anybody in his purview. Breaks my heart. And there's children. Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of Marie Antoinette going on right now. Hey, let's build a $300 million ballroom. Literally why children don't have food. In the richest country in the world. So, you know what to do. I don't have to tell you again. I won't say it again. You know what's up. I know you guys can figure this out and you can do it. But just think about that stuff when you're out this weekend. I'm sure you're like me. I look in my pantry and I got so many cans of crap that I'm never going to eat. Just grab them or go to the grocery store. Go to Costco. They have this section where there's cans of food for 99 cents. Buy 20 of them. $20. That's a cheap bottle of wine, man. $20 is a rounding error on a huge dinner. You go out to dinner with 8 people, you're going to have a $200 dinner, 20 cans of food. That's a lot of food. Yeah, it's okay, Michael. You can say that stuff. I don't mind you saying that at all. I don't think that's a Republican thing or a Democrat thing or a political thing. I think it's a human thing. The thing that gets me is we're the richest country in the world, and we can't figure this out. Especially if you consider yourself to be a religious person. There's no excuse. There's none. Absolutely none. I'm not a particularly religious person. I grew up with some religious training, and I think I got the good things out of it. One of which is you feed people who need food. You don't watch your fellow humans starve. If you're a patriotic American, let's say you're not even religious, you're just really patriotic. You don't let your fellow citizens starve, even though you don't agree with them on stuff. Who cares? They're human beings, just like you. They're Americans, just like you. Hoss Thompson says, might be a time for a new deal. Yeah, it's going to come to that. I think, honestly, I don't like to make predictions, but the path that we're on is going to be bad. This is going to, before, if we even have an election next year, there's going to be a crash of some kind. So right now we have food insecurity, inflation, unemployment's going up. Tariffs are hurting the economy badly. It's a bad combination. So anyway, I hope the people in Washington, D.C. come to their senses by midnight tomorrow night and fund SNAP. It's what used to be called food stamps, and now it's Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, SNAP. People like to have little acronyms, right? SNAP sounds better than food stamps, I guess. So anyway, that's heavy on my mind. I'm sorry to burden you with it. We're here having fun, and we're fortunate enough to sit around and play great guitars and great amplifiers, and many of us just absolutely live like kings, and we don't appreciate it. Do something nice. You mean come back to work? Yeah, that's right. Exactly, Michael. You got it. There's many reasons they're not coming back to work. It's kind of a coup. Like, we don't have a legislative branch right now. Many sad people here believe poor people deserve to be, yeah, I know, deserve to be poor. It'd be unjust to help them. They seem to really believe that. Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? Thank you, Hoss. I can't believe that anybody that would call themselves a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim or a Buddhist or a Hindu would ever say anything like that. One of the tenets of all religions is to feed the poor and to lift up people who need a hand. And if you're a patriotic American, it's the opposite of that. Ironically, most of these people are flag-waving and Christians, and they don't want to help anybody. It doesn't work, does it? That's just wrong. Yeah, it's heavy on all of our hearts, and I'm sorry to bring it up, but it's just that important. I guess my point is we all have a little extra money if we're sitting here talking about buying $3,000-$4,000 amplifiers, and I'm playing expensive guitars. We all have a little extra money in the bank. Maybe you had other plans for it. Just pull some out and help. Honestly, this weekend, there's a lot of single moms sitting around crying their eyes out, looking at their children going, whatever food we have in the house is what we got. We got to make it work for a while. And a lot of single moms are the hardest working, nicest people on earth, and we can help them. So get out there and do that. All right, I'll stop preaching. Thank you for listening to me. I didn't mean to overstep my bounds there. It's very serious stuff. Anyway, I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me and wasting your time with Dan Bull. So next week, let's do some Gibson action, humbuckers. I also have that Andy Elliott Strat with the humbucker and the bridge. So let's do some humbuckers through this thing and see how it goes. I might have a new power transformer. If the power transformer arrives, I'll probably just play that Monterey again, which I really liked. Thanks, Randy. It's easy to tell the truth, brother. You know that. So that's the amp. I think I want to convert that to high current as well. So I might take this power transformer, which is enormous, and stick it on there so I can run that down at low power. There's another tap on here, or the other transformer. There's another tap that I can run it at like 9 watts. So I want to try that on there at 9 watts and 2.5, 2.7, whatever, and see how it goes. Anyway, my fellow friends, my fellow guitar players, my fellow musicians, my fellow humans, I'll see you next week. And you guys take care and happy Halloween. Be safe out there. And don't eat too much candy and get sick. I'm hiccuping now from the candy I just ate. Thanks, Haas. Yeah, man. I don't mean to be emotional, but I hate this stuff. I just fucking hate it. I can't believe it's happening, and it's so wrong. It's just, you got a Memphis, Michael. Excellent. Yeah, it's the same thing, just the name's different, as you remember. Anyway, okay, I'm really going this time, I swear. All right, love you guys. See you next week. If you got any questions, reach out to me. I'm always available on Facebook, Instagram. My email address is danbull@me.com. If you have any thoughts, anything you'd like me to discuss on the show. I don't mind coloring outside the lines a little bit like I did here at the end. Most people that watch the recording aren't going to make it all the way to the ending anyway. So you are the special people who got to hear all the nonsense. All right, guys. To be continued.